It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on a bright, sunny Monday morning from Central Virginia. Going to be a hot one today. It's supposed to get up in the 90s again. Of course, I got to go back to therapy. Haven't been there for a couple of days, so I'll probably struggle a little bit through that today, but it's been a pretty busy weekend. If you guys missed out on Cruise Amigos yesterday, we had our friend Kim on from out there in Vancouver, Washington, talking about her recent Alaska trip. Pretty good program. So if you missed it, go back and look into that. All right, Monday travel and cruise industry news for September 13th, 2021. Tropical storm Nicholas and how it might impact the Gulf Coast, and 4 more systems to watch. Actually, it's 3 because one of them just dissipated in the last 30 minutes. Disney Fantasy got out of Florida. Carnival Pride sailed from Baltimore. Scarlet Lady returns to New York City. Heathrow calls for overhaul of travel restrictions over there in the UK. And we're going to have live reports, not live, we're going to have reports updated this morning from both the Virtuoso and Carnival Mardi Gras. So lots of stuff happening today. So first, probably the most important thing we got to look at is the weather. And, you know, we got a tropical storm Nicholas that is supposed to get a little bit stronger today. Could become a hurricane, folks. I mean, it's not 100% that it's going to become a hurricane, but when it gets in that warmer water that it's heading towards, anything could happen. At the very least, Tropical Storm Nicholas is forecast to cause flash flooding, dangerous riptides, and gusty winds through the day today. The center of Tropical Storm Nicholas was about, I don't know, pretty close to the mouth of the Rio Grande River now, about 200 miles or so, probably 150, 60 miles south of Port O'Connor, Texas. Nicholas is moving toward the north-northwest about 14 miles an hour. The storm should turn northward later today, north-northeastward tomorrow. The center of Nicholas will pass near or just offshore the coast of northeastern Mexico and South Texas this morning, move onshore along the Gulf Coast, South or Central Texas this afternoon or evening. Currently, it's got winds about 60 miles an hour. So we clearly could see it strengthen to 70 miles an hour with higher gusts. Strengthening is forecast over the next few hours. Could reach the northwest Gulf Coast as a hurricane, depending on how long it stays out over the water and whether it turns into Texas. So, I mean, just everybody from literally from the northern part of Mexico all around to the Big Bend in Florida, anywhere in between. You just got to watch this one and see what happens. I realize none of you guys need any rain or wind, and a lot of you are going to get some, and could be a lot of both. Tropical storm winds are going up to 115 miles from the center. Pressure is 1,001, so you know, if it stays above 1,000, we don't have a whole lot to worry about. If that pressure starts dropping, we could be in trouble. Now, the other things to look at in the Atlantic, tropical wave is expected to emerge off the west coast of Africa. And that should happen, let's see, later today. Environmental conditions are forecast to be conducive for gradual development of this system, and tropical depression is likely to form by later on in the week. Chance of formation is 20%. That's very low. But over the next 5 days, formation chance is high at 70%. So that one over there on Africa, we're going to have to watch for. Now, the one, folks, that's up north of that, which is actually somewhere between like I would call that halfway between the Azores and Portugal. Forget that. It died. It is no more. The area of low pressure that's forecasted to form by midweek of a couple hundred miles north of the southeastern or central Bahamas as a tropical wave interacts with a high-level trough. Now, that's the one over there just east of the Bahamas. Some gradual development of this system is possible. Tropical depression could form in the next day or two while the system moves north-northeastward or northward across the western Atlantic. Formation chance in the next 48 hours is very low, near 0%. But over the next 5 days, gets to medium, about 50%. So that's the one there that's just to the east of the Bahamas. It looks like the upper level winds are going to steer that sucker north toward Bermuda. So that could have some impacts there. Depending on the exact path, it could veer in toward the U.S. coast and, again, the Canadian stuff, again, like we had that last week. So, I mean, I hate not being able to give you any idea what some of these things are going to do, but they just don't know anything. Down in the Pacific, this one is satellite and wind data indicate that it's disorganized showers and thunderstorms near the coast of southern Mexico. Elongated area of low pressure located a couple hundred miles south of Acapulco. Environmental conditions are marginally conducive for development. Tropical depression could form during the next couple of days while it moves westward or west-northwestward just offshore of the coast. So it could not have landfall, but it could just go right up parallel on the coast again and dumping, and that's on the dirty side of the storm. So it could dump lots of rain and wind all along the west coast of Mexico again, right up toward Baja. So again, as they say, 40% chance over the next 2 days and 40% chance over the next 5. So again, we just gotta watch this. Watch all these other little storms, but you guys definitely along the Gulf Coast, Texas coast, y'all be on alert because this could change literally hourly. All right, the 3 main stories from this weekend. Carnival Pride sailed out of Baltimore, which opened up a new cruise port and a new ship sailing. That happened yesterday. The Disney Fantasy, that sailed from Port Canaveral on Saturday. So that became the 3rd Disney ship that's at sea. And one there has been just absolutely no news about this, no talk about this whatsoever. The Scarlet Lady arrived in New York yesterday, and my buddy Dave Monk is the only person that saw this, and he got a picture of it from the webcam in New York Harbor of the Scarlet Lady coming into New York. And if you don't believe that, folks, here's the morning tracker. You see the Scarlet Lady is that red arrow, red circle right there. It's sitting down there at the end of the pier in Bayonne, New Jersey. So that's literally right off the tracker this morning. So I'm surprised there wasn't a little more fanfare for the Scarlet Lady finally getting to the States after all the problems. All right. Let's see what's next. Heathrow. This is for the folks on the other side of the pond. Heathrow calls for an overhaul of the travel restrictions in the UK. New figures from Heathrow have revealed passenger numbers remain 71% down in August versus the same month pre-pandemic. The airport said ever-changing restrictions, expensive and unnecessary testing requirements, and a lack of common approach across borders were behind the slump. From being the busiest airport in Europe in 2019, Heathrow is now 10th, following well behind Paris and Frankfurt. They're all recovering at a much quicker pace. In response, the airport urged ministers to streamline the system to get travel levels and economic activity safely back to pre-pandemic levels. Otherwise, officials argued the UK will continue to lose trade and face lower levels of foreign tourism, impacting jobs and slowing the economic recovery. So that's from Heathrow. Okay. We've talked about the Virtuoso and its problems ad nauseum. I am totally opposed to the way several now so-called influencers are reporting this. And this is not necessarily aimed at Mr. Walker, who I can't stand the way he reports things, because he's always anti-cruise line. He represents people that sue the cruise companies. But to you other guys out there that are in the same position that I'm in, those of you that are calling the Virtuoso a pandemic ship, a super spreader cruise ship, shut the hell up. Here is directly from the Virtuoso this morning, from my friend Emma Watts, who is on board the Virtuoso. We are having a wonderful time. The ship is stunning. The food has been amazing. I also heard directly from Chris Mann, who had just got off of 2 weeks on the Virtuoso. So he was on it the second week of all the bad information, and was on it this past week when things started getting a lot more positive stuff on social media. So Chris Mann said, and this is a direct quote from him directly to me this morning, absolutely happy with the health and safety on this cruise. Sadly, a few passengers felt the protocol didn't apply to them, but it was the minority. The protocols caused some service delays, but most of us expected that to be the case whilst cruising in the pandemic. End quote from Chris Mann, M-A-H-N, Chris Mann, who was on the MSC Virtuosa for the last 2 weeks. He also posted in one of the forums that I belong to, a private forum, and says, we just got off an incredible 2 weeks on board the MSC Virtuoso in the yacht club. The first week in a royal suite, the second week in a deluxe suite. The butlers and lounge butlers were terrific, and he listed the names there, which I'm not going to go through that part of it. But he goes on to say in his post on the forum, I appreciate my experience is much different to others. We have only ever cruised MSC in the yacht club, as we find it comparable to premium suite offers on other lines. And folks, I know many of our guys don't do suite offers, don't do yacht clubs. I've realized, and I never have either, but this gentleman is lucky enough to have, but still he's on the ship. The overall vibe of this ship has been different to our previous MSC experiences. We partly put this down to pandemic protocols, but also due to guests expecting service levels similar to what they experienced pre-pandemic, or comparing it to their preferred other lines. We have already booked our next yacht club cruise for Christmas and anticipate booking another 2 for next year on sister ships to the Virtuoso. I appreciate MSC isn't a cruise line for everyone. I've said that myself before. And we also have our reasons for not sailing with other cruise lines. For those of you who are on the fence, I'd recommend trying MSC again under different circumstances, as it's usually much different to what some have experienced over the past few weeks. I accept we have been lucky with the yacht club and that some passengers have just felt reason to complain. I can't wait for our next MSC cruise. If you're fortunate enough or happy to spend the extra, I guarantee you won't regret the yacht club experience. That's directly from 2 people on board this week And so, yes, they had some cases. And yes, they weren't as transparent as I liked them to be. I've been critical of them of that. But this is not a pandemic cruise ship. This is not a cruise ship that is a super spreader event. And those of you that are trying to grab publicity and try to grab new viewers because of that kind of crap, cut it out if you care at all about cruising and cruise ships. Damn it. Okay, no more ranting. All right. That's some crew members on Carnival Mardi Gras that if they have been exposed to people that have tested positive, they are now required to wear N95 masks. Our friend Sharon is on board the Mardi Gras. Okay. And here's what Sharon had to say this morning. I'm exhausted. Kind of think I need a princess or a celebrity cruise to recuperate after this trip. The crew is great. Feel bad for the ones that test negative but were exposed. They have to wear N95s, and those working the pool deck wearing them look slightly uncomfortable. I don't know if any of you have ever worn N95 masks. They suck. I mean, they're tough on you. I've tried it once, and I go back to mine that you guys have all seen me in. All the dining crew has been given N95 too. People on the ship know the risk, and it's now not uncommon for vaccinated cruisers to come down with positive. Having fun waking by the party deck, but I just can't do it. Sitting shoulder to shoulder in a hot tub doesn't feel right. Maybe in October. I love the ship. I do love the food. Shack's Kitchen, which is Shack's Big Chicken, I think it's a former name, is awesome. And the salad bar and the Serenity deck is great. I did bolt, and it's well worth the $15. So now, let me see if I can do this right, folks, because I got some proof here. I'm not entirely sure, but you know me with these technical issues. Okay, so I'm going to share this and this and this, and I think is it this one? Share. Yes. Okay. Now see this lady. Now I got in trouble yesterday, folks, because I referred to Martin, one of the Cruise Amigo, Martin, as being fat, and he, of course, has lost a bunch of weight. I refer to myself as fat all the time. So yesterday I started calling myself fluffy. Well, now this lady could well be fluffy. She is. I'm going to show you here if I can make this thing work. So, this is the bolt. Okay. Now, see if I get okay. That was the two clips from Sharon on the boat. Now the fluffy lady, it's like I'm fluffy too. Okay, so I'm not saying that to be nasty and say anything politically incorrect or whatever. Does that mean that they'll let me get on the boat when I get on Mardi Gras? I mean, she was. I'm not. She was a little on the stout side, as I am. Usually, when I want to do something like that, they take one look at me and say, "You're too damn fat. Get the hell out of here." Does that mean they'll let me get on the boat? I'm not sure I'll get on it. Don't get me wrong. But is that possible? That's interesting. Now, let's see. I got another one of those since that worked so well, at least I assume that worked. I didn't see anybody screaming at me. So now let me see if I can find the other one. I don't even remember what the other one is now, quite frankly. I got a tab, do that, and I got to look for Facebook for, that's the other. I don't remember where it is. Let's try this one. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. That was the coming out party. Yeah. So I gotta get, wait a minute. Holy cow, how do I get rid of this? I closed it off. No. Damn, what did I do wrong here? I can't. Are you guys hearing? I assume you guys are hearing this like I am. I can't figure out how to get rid of it. Let me see. Screenshot. Focus. Okay. Woo. I don't know if you could hear that thing repeating and Prince. Obviously, I screwed something up somewhere along in there. Okay. Which is not unusual. Now, one other silliness this morning. Let's see if I can get this one right. Where is it? I don't see it now. Okay. Our good friend, Cindy from Dallas. Like Hot Air Tom had a Hawaii cruise canceled. So they decided, oh, well, let's just go to Hawaii. And she did. So she sent me some photos, which, in trying to get rid of that clip that was going nuts on me there, I may have lost Cindy's. I have. Oh, well, I had some nice pictures of Cindy's hotel. I will get that back for you. Oh, I know where they were. They were in. No, it wasn't. Okay, I'll get Cindy's pictures from Hawaii back for tomorrow. So sorry about screwing up at the end, folks. All right, let's go see who's here and who's. I'm sure somebody's fussing at me over that disaster. My technical knowledge. Okay, Jack's with us from Conroe, Texas. He's expecting winds and rain, but no damage or flooding. That's good. Gretchen's here. Carol's here. Cindy Lee's here. Yeah, Nicholas will be 50 to 100 miles to his west, he says. To his west. Wow. Then you've got a different direction on it coming. You might have seen some updates that I haven't seen yet. Amy's with us. Hey, Amy. Carol says, if you can't adapt to ever-changing COVID protocols and possible outbreaks, don't cruise right now. Stop complaining. I so totally agree. People don't realize that the cruise ships will do anything to not close down again. If cases flare up, they're going to change the protocols. All cruisers need to be flexible. Totally agree. Emily's with us up in New York. But Emily sent me some stuff. Her elementary school right near her got flooded and damaged and stuff. They had to shut it down like until, I think it said November before that schools can reopen again from that flooding last week. I just got up. I'm working every day this week. Good. You can buy some wine with that. Gretchen says, we're seeing you. I only hear you and see you. Oh, you guys, I hear and see you also. You guys couldn't hear. So what I was getting was the guy doing the sail away party on the Mardi Gras, it was just repeating his audio over it, and I was getting it in my ears, and I tried to stop the stream and stop this, but I was kept hearing it going over and over and over in my ears, which thankfully you guys couldn't hear that. So, but I did something wrong because it was sure as hell going nuts in my ears. All right, guys. That's going to wrap me up this morning. And, you know, the rant wasn't aimed at any of you guys. I love you guys to death. And nor is it aimed at any of our regular folks and most of our good friends. But there are a couple influencers out there that are just trying to make hay at the expense of the virtuoso. And as I'm showing, it's unfounded. So, and Emily said that's a high school, not an elementary. My bad. All right, we're getting a couple other comments in here. Jack is just north of Houston. The storm is forecast to come on land to the west and pass west and north of Houston. Okay, so they're counting on it coming down very in the southern part, northern part of Mexico, southern part of Texas, south of excuse me, south of Houston. All right, that's good to know. Hope that's what it does and it doesn't go on up toward the Gulf Coast. That's the main thing. And everybody says, stay safe, Jack. I totally agree. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. It's been wild and woolly. I do appreciate everybody that helped me out from the Virtuoso so far, and I'm sure that I will continue to get information from them. We also have Gavin and Luke are on board, who I've not heard from since they went through the long queue of checking in. They've also been on it twice, and we'll have a good comparison when I do talk to them. So that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. As always, appreciate you being here. I'll see everybody tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This is the old fat travel guy. You guys have a great day. Stay safe down there, Jack, and anybody along the Texas coast or Gulf Coast. We're thinking about you. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.